I'm Sam Altman. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Loot.
Our story opens on CEO Sam Altman, who co-founded OpenAI in 2015. He had ascended to the heights of Silicon Valley fame and fortune by age 28 as president of the famed startup incubator Y Combinator. But Altman felt unfulfilled and feared for civilization in an AI-powered future. So he assembled a team of leading researchers united by ideals to freely share discoveries that could remake society while ensuring AI benefited all humanity. Easier said than done. For 8 roller coaster years, Altman led OpenAI. It's known as Artificial General Intelligence, or AGI, which replicates the learning and reasoning powers of the human mind. Brilliant but stubborn, Altman's uncompromising leadership style created friction, and tensions escalated over high-profile projects like DALL-E, which generated uncanny images with a few words of text. How far should researchers freely push capabilities? Can we govern unpredictable emerging technologies? Which is more dangerous, doing too much or too little? Hard questions without consensus answers. Existential debates that now threatened OpenAI's very existence. Our story's inciting incident arrived suddenly on November 18th when OpenAI's board fired Altman as CEO. Citing strategic disagreements and concerns over his leadership, they removed Altman from the company he had founded and poured his dreams into. Stunned researchers huddled in halls, outraged and demoralized. The controversial decision posed an existential crisis to OpenAI's culture, centered on openness, safety, and ethics. Rallying in resistance, over 700 employees signed a petition denouncing Altman's firing as an existential threat to OpenAI's mission-driven culture. They wrote impassioned pleas like, "Without Sam, there is no OpenAI. He is the energy that binds this place." Employees threatened wholesale resignation if demands weren't met, which could erase institutional knowledge and leave systems dark. But the board stood resolutely firm. Siding with the board were a minority of staffers who felt Altman and other executives had become power-hungry, pushing excessively risky projects while ignoring calls for safety guidelines and oversight. As tensions erupted, work ground to a halt. Engineers temporarily froze vital model training systems that power innovations, bringing research creeping towards standstill. Scientists lingered in halls debating the lab's future while PhD students paused publishing. Both sides stood unmoved even as OpenAI teetered at the brink of dissolution, torn between the unfettered exploration Altman championed and cautions from more conservative voices against recklessness. At stake was the very soul of one of AI's most ambitious ventures. The saga captured growing pains in balancing ambitious visions with cautious prudence in the breakneck pursuit of AI. But employee loyalty aligned firmly behind Altman and their shared ideals for this world-changing technology. In signature Silicon Valley fashion, deliverance arrived from an unexpected source, Microsoft. With billions invested in OpenAI's groundbreaking systems, Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella grew alarmed. If OpenAI fell from internal strife, years of vital AI research could collapse. Nadella began mediating talks between Altman and the board. Finally, after 5 tumultuous days, both camps reached an uneasy truce on November 23rd. Altman returned as CEO, but under a radically changed board, handpicked to support his more aggressive style and vision for AI development. Out went several prominent tech executives who prioritized commercial success over open research. In came academics and non-profit leaders more aligned with Altman's AI for Good motto. The new board affirmed commitments to safety, ethics, and serving humanity's best interests, values many felt were eroding under pressure for profits and speedier breakthroughs. There were concessions too. Altman agreed to improve communications with the board and have his power checked by new co-CEOs. But make no mistake, this was Altman's vision that prevailed after the brinksmanship. With leadership realigned, OpenAI appeared re-emerged, brimming with renewed purpose, but not without lingering tensions beneath the surface. And so our story draws to a close? Or does it? For the tale of OpenAI is still being written. Its next gripping chapters will determine if artificial general intelligence illuminates humanity's future or casts shadows over it. Will Altman's returned vision set OpenAI back on course to ethical AI that benefits all? Can tempestuous geniuses be tempered by compassion and principle? Will investors value responsible progress over racing recklessly towards questionable breakthroughs? The answers remain unclear, but OpenAI now stands at the frontier to decide which uncharted path AI exploration will take in this decisive decade. How the nonprofit navigates the winding road ahead could very well reshape the fabric of civilization. What we do know is that the riveting drama sparked by those 5 days of chaos starkly revealed artificial intelligence's high-stakes, bifurcated trails. On one path lies wondrous possibility powered by human ideals and vision. On the other lurks existential risk fraught with hubris and indifference to fault lines. So stay tuned, history is still unfolding at one of technology's most consequential frontiers. This is just the beginning of the story.